Figure this punting thing out. It's a pass on second down. Jones into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Isaiah Hodgins.
What up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan, coming at y'all with the Week 14 edition of the True Blue Aftermath. As you saw, opening up the show with one of the New York Giants' very, 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 very few highlights of the day. One of the only positive-looking things about the New York Giants today is still seeing that this kid, Isaiah Hodgins, has some potential real playmaking ability. That's about it. The pass rush, okay, but still wasn't getting home quite enough. Obviously, Jalen Hurts was still back there, pretty comfortable most of the day. So yeah, nothing else positive to remotely talk about. A whole lot of negative, whole lot of downright ugly though. Whole lot of downright ugly. Because look. I'm not some crazy New York Giants fan, you know what I mean? I obviously didn't go into this game expecting a W necessarily against this Philadelphia Eagle team. I didn't expect one, but I expected a respectable game, at least. Something respectable. Look like, you know what I mean, a competent football team out there, and we did not today. The Eagles looked like they were at a glorified practice session the entire game. They did whatever they wanted, when they wanted. And that's not acceptable. And I don't care how much better the talent is. That part is not acceptable. This New York Giant team, people have been saying we've been exposed a long time ago. Nah, the Eagles just completely exposed the New York Giants today. Yeah, let you know that your talent is that bad. That we can just come out here and do whatever we want. Because that's what the hell they did today. What's going on, Mitch? Good game, bruh. We'll see you again. I don't even care. I'm going to still be talking shit too then. All right? But we will see you again. And it ain't going down like that down in the link. All right? You can believe that. But this offensive line, to me, this was the worst game of the season for the offensive line. And they've had a couple of other really, really bad ones. But this was terrible. 7 sacks, 3 sacks, giving up to Brandon Graham, a 13-year vet that's he's still looking like a young man out there going up there against you, Evan Neal. That man was getting around that edge all day long. 13-year vet. Give me a break. I know the Eagles are a better team on paper than us. Way, way, way better. I get that. But at some point in time, you still got to have a little more respect for yourself. And go out there and give some form of effort. Running up and down the field all day long like they was at practice. Literally like they was at practice. That shit right there was a damn disgrace. Exactly like my super dope co-host in the chat, Adam Costas, is putting up here in the chat. It was a damn disgrace. Nothing, like I said, nothing good to talk about in this game whatsoever. Nothing at all. Absolutely pathetic all across the board. Eagles, they didn't even break a sweat out there. That was like a walkthrough for them. I can't right now. You know what? Somebody, go ahead, Jeff, man.
I mean, what else can you say?
Actually, speaking some truth right there, he's mad. That's what Giant fans need to be right now.
We are mad. We're very mad. We're pissed off. We're disgusted. We got our asses whooped at our own stadium. And you know what the fans were chanting in the stadium? MVP. That's what bothers me the most, is I got to hear MVP chants from the goddamn Eagles fans in my stadium. My stadium. I got to hear that crap.
Yep.
We got embarrassed at home. We got exposed on every count. The offensive line couldn't protect shit. Our wide receiver core They actually weren't the worst thing on that field. The pass rush was inconsistent. We got beat multiple times on the outside. On 4th and 7, you got beat on a 4th and 7 play by Devontae Smith. And you know what also aggravates me? Boston Scott has played in 7 career games against the Giants. He has 9 touchdowns. Do you want to know how many touchdowns he has against the rest of the league, fellas? Do you really want to know? 7! 7 touchdowns in 49 games.
If you all want to trade for Boston Scott,
I got you, Miz.
No, because he would suck if he comes on our team. Now, I know most Giants fans were resorted to, we're going to lose this game. And I picked us to lose too. But when we get embarrassed like we do at home against the fucking Eagles, that's what gets me mad. I apologize for cursing so much. But that's what pisses me off the most, is when we get embarrassed at our own stadium by the opposing team. And I have to hear the opposing fans again chanting MVP at Jalen Hurts. That's what gets me most lit up as a fan. Nothing went right for this team in this game. Even a punter can't catch a ball and fumbles the ball on the ground. That was a key player in the game too. He can't even catch a fucking snap. Matt's laughing because he's probably in pain after that one.
I didn't even get to that. I was going to get to that later, but yeah, I'm glad you just go ahead.
Can't
Let
even
him
catch
have
a
it, Joe.
ball. Go ahead, Mac. I'm really just mad about this game. I'm furious.
Well, look, you go ahead and speak halftime if you got something you want to say, bro. Go ahead.
Like, I was trying to tell you guys, and I'm probably the only Eagles fan here. And you can look for everybody. Everybody thought it was going to be a real close game. I didn't. And I said it. I was like, your team can't. There's too many weapons where the Eagles were.
Yeah.
And even on offense and defense, there's just too many weapons that the Eagles have. And it's going to be hard for you guys to stop that. And that's where you fell in. Fell in that problem because there was too many weapons. The Eagles have just way too many weapons. Even like your running game is good. Your defense is good. I've been saying it all year long that the Giants' defense is good. But there's just too many weapons to stop the Eagles.
I mean, look, I agree with you, Philly, man. Halftime, it definitely, like I said, obviously, like I said, if I listen to my preview show, I'm a shameless plug my preview show again. I mentioned that right at the top of that. This is like a true David Goliath matchup. I mean, we just don't stack up to the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, we've been saying that. We know the reality of that situation. We understand that. It's just right now, as fans still, regardless, a harder pill to swallow when you just watch your team just go out there and get absolutely embarrassed on their home field like that, regardless of who they playing against. Big-time division rival, we just got out there and got absolutely toasted. This game was never competitive. Before we came on, I told Jeff straight up, as crazy as it sounds, I knew this game was over when you guys scored your first touchdown. It was only 7-0. Just because of the way the drive was executed. You did whatever you wanted to. You did it how you wanted to. It was just too fucking easy. So I knew at that point, I said, this is going to be a long fucking day.
They toured with us.
And it was just everything just came too easy all day long. It didn't matter. It was never no momentum shift. They were commentators trying to hint like it was some kind of, like at some point in time, the Giants were threatening to take momentum. There was never no point in time in this game like that. This game was never in doubt. Right out the gate. Because like I said, like I was mentioning before, the Giants had to play a near perfect game to even keep it competitive. And clearly, right out the gate, we weren't doing that. So it was just a bad look all across the board today for this New York Giant team. But look, We got a huge one next week, and that's what they need to get themselves ready for. Try to get as healthy as they can next week. Get ready because next week is the do or die matchup for the New York Giants on this 2022 season. Next Sunday night down in Washington. So
you guys got to beat Washington. And now that tie with Washington really hurts you.
Well, I mean, depends.
No, really, right now that tie is killing you right now.
Well, we got to watch out for Detroit right now.
The fact that we still have a head-to-head game with Washington, that tie is not really going to affect us in that regard yet. You know what I mean? So I think right now we got, as long as we can still win that game next week, that tie actually still kind of aids us a little bit with the teams like the Seattles and the Detroit Lions that are now coming up, and the Seattle that's right there still, obviously. That helps us out with that, just because it just gives us that one less loss.
We're sliding
necessarily. Down. So next week is the big one for the Giants. They got to win, point blank, period. I don't care how they do it. I don't give a fuck if the score is 4-2. Just got to win the damn game. Next week, it doesn't matter.
Yep, pretty much.
That's what they got to do.
What's going on, Miz?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not mad because I knew we had no shot at winning this game anyway. I mean, Adam and I have been talking about this for weeks. We picked out all these losses. But I'm not giving up the season yet because you could throw this game in the garbage. The game may mean something to this guy because he's an Eagle fan and they scored 48 and the Eagles are doing their thing this year. But this game don't mean shit to me. The season's not over. We did not lose the season. We were never winning this game. This game was lost before we even walked out the tunnel. We knew that. And I'm not going to make excuses, but there are some excuses. The Eagles score 48 because the Giants don't have a single starter in their secondary playing, okay? Leo Williams was out. That's a monster hit up the middle. No Galladay. I know he hasn't been a factor, but you know what? You have to put your defense on that side and worry about him when he's on the field. You do. There's no threat at wide receiver. I don't care. I know people want to say Jones is not stepping up and playing great football. He's not. But neither does he have any weapons in order to try to. And I'll be honest with you. I feel the Giants, like I told Mac at halftime, I called Mac at halftime on the phone, and I said the Giants Dabble would be a really smart head coach today if he doesn't show anything in the second half, because we have no chance of coming back, and Washington's sitting at home and watching us. So don't show them anything, because guess what? This game really didn't mean that much to us. To be honest with you, I know that sounds crazy. The season lies in next Sunday night's hands. That is our season. We were never catching the Eagles. We're not on their level. Fans got to stop being fucking delusional. The Eagles in Dallas is on another level from us this year. But if we want to make the wild card, we got to go to Washington next week and win the game. And like Max said, it don't matter if it's 4-2. You got to find a way to win next week's game. And they rested some of these players that could have tried to go today because they knew they couldn't win this game. So why re-injure them? We saved, let's put it this way, man. Bottom line, I wouldn't even be that upset. I understand we look like shit and we got stepped all over. So, yeah, it's not, and it's to the Eagles, of course. But, bottom line, the Giants put all their eggs in next week's game. I hope you guys do realize that. And no, Adam, the fucking season's not over. I don't care who wants to lose and what type of quarterbacks you think are winning in the draft. We still got to play this season.
Are you guys concerned about Barkley? Are you concerned about Barkley with the neck?
No, because I think that they purposely didn't load him up today because we need him for next week. Again, we're putting all our eggs in next week. I hope you guys saw that.
The neck injury, though, you got to be a little worried about that.
I'm not worried at all because that is not why the Eagles blew us out today. They were going to beat us regardless. But I think that the coaches realized, like I said earlier this week, Jeff, I told people this. I don't know if people understand this. Sometimes you got to give up a game for a bigger game that leads to the rest of the season. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not saying we're giving. I'm not trying to say we gave up the game. The Eagles were going to beat us no matter what. It is what it is.
He just means as things stand right now, man. That's what he was talking about.
Oh, my bad. No, I'm just saying, the season's next week. If we lose,
he's right about that. The terrible effort. That's what really frustrates me.
No, he's right. He's right. I'm not saying he's not right. Me and Adam talk all the time. We've been on the same page the last 4 weeks. When you knew we were losing to the Lions, we both thought we were going to lose. We were going to get killed today. You know, we didn't think last week was a tie. I feel that tie is going to hurt us. But let's see. I don't know.
I think everybody's wrong about that tie, especially if we win. Like I said, we gotta do the math. Like I said, if we win next week and handle our business against the Washington Commanders, that tie helps us a little bit, keeping Seattle's and the Lions at bay a little bit. That tie helps us in that regard because it'll just give us that one less loss, which will still keep us above them in the standings. That's so as long as we can take care of that business against Washington next week, that tie does indeed aid the Giants a little bit. So it's ugly. It's like I said, I was talking about it last week on the show. It's a stupid ass. I hate the damn having to mention the damn tie. Hate saying the record 7-5-1. I hate having to add that and one at the end. But at the same time, right now, as long as we take care of business next week, that tie kind of is helping us out a little bit. I'm just saying.
Our offensive line's got to play better. Our offensive line has got to play a hell of a lot better than they did this past week. Past couple of weeks, actually. If our offensive line plays as garbage as it did today, and Washington's got that pass rush too, and they're getting Chase Young back, if our offensive line plays as garbage as they did today, our chances of winning are going to go down. We have to find a way to get a better performance from our offensive line that is starting to become a major problem now.
Yeah.
I will say this. Mac is right. The tie doesn't really hurt you. But because I look at when you play the Eagles next time, you guys are probably going to win because we're going to bench everybody.
Well, I hope so. Hope you're absolutely right on that because we're going to need all the help we can.
And that's going to help you out because we're already going to be clinched and we're not going to want to play.
Let me ask you a question, Philly halftime. One real quick, just to play the other side. If Dallas beats you in Dallas, let's just say 50-50 game. If Dallas beats you in Dallas, does that make that forces the Eagles to have to play the last game of the season hard? Am I wrong?
Not really. They don't have to, but if they lose to Dallas, they probably will.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't. You're probably right that they would play, but I don't think we're going to lose to Dallas. I think Dallas is not. I think Dallas is going to get. We're going to beat Dallas.
Dallas struggled just to beat Houston today.
That's
the
the
Eagles
NFL.
struggled
That's the parody
too.
of the NFL, though, guys.
The Eagles struggled too. Don't get me wrong against a lot of teams. Now
They had the matchup. They had the matchup against us. They had a better matchup against us. Every single they had the big time matchup against our team.
I think we're going to beat Dallas again. We're going to sweep Dallas this year, but we're not going to sweep the Giants because at the end we're going to be on the bench.
Well, here's the thing I think about that game, though. I think the Eagles will, at the very least, they're going to play Jalen Hurts and them are going to still play at least half of that game, regardless. Well, no, that's not that. Not for that purpose. No. For the purpose of the fact that I think the Eagles are the best team in the league, and the Eagles are going to have a first-round bye already clinched, and the Eagles are not going to want to have their players completely just sitting for damn near 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or 2 whole weeks. Yeah, I'm not playing at all. So just for that sake alone, they're going to probably play at least. We'll get a half out of their starters, out of their starters, I believe, in that game. I mean, probably they won't. Anybody that's got any little nicks or something like that, yeah, they'll probably sit them out for sure. You know why not in that situation? But at the same time,
got 2 more. Our field got 2 more, man. 2 more Eagles went down today.
Yeah,
MetLife turf.
They got 2 Eagles today.
Your field's
but Adam brings up a good point here. That their backups are good, so it doesn't really matter. I think a lot of the Eagles' backups are better than guys we're starting, obviously. So it's just that's just the reality of the situation, how good and how stacked this Eagle football team is. So I think right now, honestly, I don't want to put this pressure on you right now, halftime on your fan base or the Eagles team, but I think it's Super Bowl or bust with this team right now, man.
Yeah,
Mac,
I feel like with the way they've built this team.
Right. You're right. It would be Super Bowl or bust because when next year when they had to sign Jalen Hurts, they got to sign Miles Sanders, and you're losing. You're only going to have 6 guys on your defense, so you're losing everybody on your defense. We're losing our corners. We're losing everybody next year. So, yeah, you're probably you would say it's Super Bowl or bust for the Eagles because the Eagles are all in.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've
Howie
done
Roseman
everything.
just kept on pulling money out somehow and just started getting everybody he can possibly get.
I mean,
can't
this
once you
team's
start
been
paying
cruising
that
through the season.
You pay that quarterback, it's over.
Say once teams been cruising through the season the way they have been, and they still continue to just keep adding pieces and pieces and pieces to this team, and not just any old regular Joe Schmoes either. Like, how do you just get Dominic and Sue and just Limbaugh Joseph and just bring them in at the stage of the season in which they did? And these guys are making impacts. You know what I mean? They're in there plugging up. They have shored up that Eagles run defense a little bit, tightened it up. So the Eagles haven't been getting gashed as much as they were when they didn't have those guys and when the other guys with Jordan Davis was out with the injury. So it's paying off right now. The moves are paying off. So I'll be curious to see how this goes with the Eagles the rest of the way, man. But I think right now they pushed their chips all the way in the middle of the table, Super Bowl or bust this year, man. Anything less than that, I think, would be a major disappointment for the way this team is constructed right now. We found out firsthand exactly how good they actually are, right up close and personal.
And also, too, I think special teams played a big factor in this game as well because they had a couple of very big returns by Covey, and then our best friend, Boston Scott, had a couple of nice returns getting our side of the field. I mean, Ellison Smith did have that block punt, but at the same time, they had the miscue by Gillian on that dropped punt, and then they were able to score the touchdown immediately. And anybody that thought the game was turning when we got that block punt and scored that touchdown, what happened? On the next play on that kickoff, Boston Scott streaking down the left side to get to all the way to about a 35-yard line, and that was it. Did
you want to pull? I almost ripped my hair out of my beard when that punter literally almost got that first down on that block punt.
I was
getting ready to rip the hair out of my fucking beard out of my face, because he was this close to getting that first down. He just didn't happen to just step his little toe out of bounds. Come on.
If he just said F it and I'm going to go run in the middle of the field, he probably would have picked up that first down, but he decided to go out of bounds because he's a punter. So that was like, if that was Weatherford, he would have gone straight through for that first down, or even was like Pat McAfee or something. But man.
And
look,
the Eagles special teams is weak, to let you guys know. It's really
better than us.
Bad. Returning, we can't return, and we do bad at returning the punts and kicks. We are bad at it. We don't block on punt returns and kick returns. We don't block at all.
Neither do we, apparently.
We let you guys get to us. It's crazy how it is. And then today, it was like we couldn't do no wrong.
No, it's
punt returns, kick returns. We was getting up the field no matter what.
Sir Bishop, man, look, I get it, man. You say defense play.
No, I disagree with that. I
disagree with it because we had one starter in the secondary, Julian Love.
He played well. The only guy that played really well.
I think we can all agree that our linebackers are just not good.
No,
overall, they're just not good. I think we can agree with that.
I mean,
we didn't have no Leo Williams on the front line. I mean,
missing Leo, which is a big piece.
Yeah.
Against an Eagle team that's loaded like this team is, man. I'm sorry, Mitch. My bad.
That's Adam Johnson putting me in timeout.
Against an Eagle team that's loaded like this, I just don't see how much what you were really expecting out of this defense today. Yeah. Truthfully, that's why one of my big keys to the game was the New York Giant offense trying to sustain drives and keep that Eagle offense off the field, because that's just the best defense against them.
Yeah. First drive, we couldn't even do it. The first drive, we were going down. We had something cooking a little bit with a couple of nice passes to Isaiah Hodgins, and then our offensive line just collapsed. Andrew Thomas got beat by Josh Sweat on the outside, and then Evan Neal got beat on the opposite side by Hassan Reddick. And then we had to punt the football away, and then the Eagles just literally marched down the field and scored a touchdown on us immediately. And that one of the biggest back-breaking plays was that Devontae Smith catch for a touchdown on the 4th and 7. I mean, you can't let that happen on 4th and 7. You've got to be able to go out there and stop them on that play. You cannot allow them to convert on 4th and 7.
That's the one play where I was frustrated with Julian Love. You got to lay that man out.
That was a bad play by him, but he's afraid of getting a penalty.
You got to lay that man out right there, man.
He was afraid of getting a 15-yarder. That's why.
I don't care. Take the penalty. You weren't winning anyway. Lay him out.
I know. I get it. He probably would if it wasn't a penalty.
Can't let him just walk into the end zone like. Can't let him walk into the end zone like that.
Darnay Holmes got torched on the play too.
I'm not saying go out there and try,
Matt,
to hurt anybody by no means. I'm just saying got to make a play there.
No, both
people don't want to criticize Dabo. I get it. He's a new coach. He's a great football guy. He's the right guy for our future.
Me too.
But I got news for you, man. The turning point of the Giants season is when this guy put Adoree Jackson at punt return. I don't care what people say. You put your best corner, one of the best corners in the league at punt return, and you know that's liability. You're setting him up for an injury. And when we lost Adoree, the Giants season has done a complete turnaround. And McKinney didn't help with his motorcycle bullshit. Okay, so there you go. Two major pieces in the secondary gone, and the secondary is not cover anybody anymore. That's all.
No, we can't.
Not saying that if we had those guys, we would have won today. We wouldn't have. But you would have seen a whole different football game. The Eagles would have had to work harder instead of having a practice, because that's what it was.
Might have won last week. Might have won last week if we had those guys.
Yeah.
But I feel you, Miz. I feel you. I mean, I was how I felt. I spoke about how I felt about Adoree Jackson being back there, and definitely for sure that just something I just don't. Another decision I don't agree with as well. You don't put one of your top guys on the defense out there and just sacrifice them on punt returns. I'm sorry, something you just don't do. It's one thing if you want to occasionally throw him back there and try to get a spark for whatever reason, but not as your regular punt returner. So that I do agree with that. But I'm not 100% sure if that's what completely turned the season around. But it almost does seem like that's when things started going down the toilet, pretty much at that moment. Once that happened, man. And then, like you said, Xavier McKinney, I get it, you're on vacation, on bye week, getting a little accident. But, yeah, things like that is just –
hurt us.
It's crippled this team, man. Because it takes – now you got – instead of having – without Adoree Jackson out there, then you got Fabian Moreau, who's been playing and had a pretty good season up this far. Now he's your number one cornerback as opposed to being the number two guy. He's getting – he's pretty much expecting him to take on – the other teams, the best wide receivers. It just changes the whole dynamic of everything. And I mean, this team is already undermanned anyway as it was. So all these injuries right now definitely have come at the worst time.
If you get these guys back next week, like they're saying, we might be getting Adoree and McKinney and Leo back next week, maybe Lemieux. So you get guys back next week, like we said. I mean, this is the real truth. That is a one-game playoff next Sunday night. That's what it is. Yeah, we're walking into a hostile environment. But there's a reason the league moved the game from 1 to 8:30. They know that's a play-in game right there. It really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want Bredesen back. I want Bredesen back.
I just got one question. What? Where is Almighty? That's my question. Where is Almighty?
Right. I got a question for you guys, and this is a serious one. Is it for you guys right now, the playoffs begin next week throughout? Or is it you can deal with a couple more losses?
A couple more losses now.
They're going to lose. If the Giants win 2 games.
You got to act like your playoffs begin next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who do you guys
have? It's not every game, though. I looked at the schedule before today, and I counted today as a loss before today. If the Giants win 2 games, there's a good chance they're going to get the 7th seed. So 2 out of the next 4.
Who do you guys?
It's going to be tight.
Washington.
Oh, right. I forgot.
It's after Washington. It's Minnesota.
Yeah.
If
Washington,
the Giants lose,
the Eagles. Go ahead, man.
Well, look,
we got the Bears.
One of those 2 has to be Washington. They cannot lose to Washington. If they lose to Washington, it's over.
Yeah.
Then the other game I'm looking at for them to win is at home in Week 17 against the Colts. Nothing's easy, but if they want to go to the playoffs, they should win that game at home.
Yeah.
What about the 18th? We might rest our starters.
I don't think you will, man. I don't agree with that. He said that also. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think you will. And I'll give you another reason. Besides, if the Cowboys beat you, you're playing all the way to the end. If the Cowboys don't beat you, this is why I still think the Eagles are going to play a hard game against the Giants because you're going to have a bye week in the first round, right?
Yeah.
So if you took week 18 off, you're looking at 2 bye weeks, and teams in the league don't like to do that.
No.
That's literally 3 weeks of no football. That's
They want
not
to stay in
good.
rhythm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I said the same thing, Mitch.
But
I
somehow,
think
if the Vikings take it, somehow, some way.
That was a bad loss for them today. I mean,
I
losing that
know.
game to Detroit, that hurts them in terms
I
of
got
number
to
one
pop by
seed.
Purple Pockets tonight. I'm going to ask them for the
Yeah,
link.
I mean,
that actually helps the Giants.
we have
You
to.
you can't really sleep
gotta
at what the
win.
Lions are doing right now. The Lions
No.
are
I
playing
mean, we
No.
needed Detroit to take an L today. That hurt the Giants. Detroit winning that football game definitely hurts the Giants because they already, like I said, own the tiebreaker over us with the head-to-head matchup. So Detroit is just right now on fire,
you
one of the
lost to
hottest
the
teams in the
Oh,
league.
you lost to Detroit?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
lost
absolutely.
by 14, I think.
Yeah, they lost to Detroit.
Seattle losing today will really help us out too.
Well, the
Yeah, that's
Niners
not
are
happening.
beating the
I
Buccaneers
can't picture that happening.
I picked that as my upset dog of the day, Mac. I think
Carolina beating Seattle?
Seattle. We got to remember, Seattle doesn't have
Hope
their
you're
running
right.
back, Walker. Walker's
That's
out,
true.
Right.
Yeah, but
and that's
Geno
a different
Smith is
offense
playing
without him.
phenomenal. Geno Smith's playing phenomenal.
Well, it's 10-0 Carolina already. And I had a
But do you-
small feeling about that game.
Oh shit!
And the
All
Niners
right,
We
let's
might
go.
get a little bit of a cookie right there. Maybe we get a tiny break.
That'll help us out right there. That'll be
Well,
that'll be
then that would
clutch.
help you out, yeah. Because then, if if
But you know
the
what?
Seattle wins today, then they'll bump up, and you guys will go
Yeah.
down. one
At this
spot.
point, I don't even care about every other team and them winning or losing. We got to handle our own business.
I
We
was
got to
getting
go
ready to
out
say the
there.
same thing, Jeff.
We have got to handle our own business as a football team. I'm sorry, Mac. We got to
Sometimes
handle
I feel
our
like
team.
you're in my mind sometimes.
It's because we have that giant tunnel thinking. We got to handle our own business. Who gives a crap if the Seahawks lose or this other team wins?
Yeah.
We have we
Right.
are owning the breaker right now. We're ahead.
I-
We have to handle our business, or it doesn't matter. We have to go out
I
there against
appreciate
Washington
it,
and beat them. Seriously.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate the help if they lose, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we got to handle our own damn business.
Yeah.
at the
team
end
is
of the day, that's
sliding.
what it comes down to. I don't want to sit here and be dependent on and worry about what this team is doing against this team. Just go out there and take care of New York Giant business. I don't care how ugly it is. It doesn't matter. Just take care of it.
And McKinney might be wearing a club on his hand because
I
that
don't
hand
give a
is still
shit,
not
man.
good.
They're a club. I don't
Well,
care if he has a
I
cast
don't
on his
care.
arm.
He can't get
Yeah, he has
interceptions.
to wear a
He can
club
still
or
tackle and
anything.
hit people. He can hit people. He's
Can
not the
he
ball.
really?
away.
Can you tackle good with a club on your hand?
Yeah.
Yo, Jeff, I don't care. LT played with a broken, fractured arm. I
McKinney
don't
ain't
care.
LT.
Well, I don't care, man. Get on the field. We need you. If you can't play next week, then you should have took the whole season off. Next week is the season. All hands on deck.
Get
I don't
What's
Bredesen
going
out
on,
there.
Randy?
Get
Jeff, there's
Bredesen out
offensive
there. We need
linemen
Ben
that have the
Bredesen.
club on their hand. There's defensive guys that have club on their hand.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it ain't.
no, I get it.
You can still tackle.
He's got to
with
learn
that.
how to adjust. Yeah, he's got to learn how to adjust. I mean, you're right.
Right now, I don't even need him to tackle. Right now, I need him maybe to cover because we're not doing that. I see Eagles receivers running free like they were playing alone today. Okay?
Yeah, they did it multiple times
Absolutely.
in this game. And
Absolutely.
yeah, we need Ben Bredesen has been one of the biggest losses for this team too. We need him back at left guard because
We
I don't
need
care
three
who
guys
plays
in the
left
middle of
guard.
that offensive line that are
No,
serious about
the interior
about
did
hitting
actually
people
better than
around.
the exterior. Although
We need
Thomas
people
and
in there.
Neal were bad.
They were bad today, but that whole offensive line is still terrible. Like I said, it was terrible as a unit. They were getting pressure on the edge, more pressure than you would like to see
Yeah,
off the edge.
Thomas was
We
shaky.
feel like our tackles are better, but at the same time, I'm over this Galinsky character. I'm over this dude. Man.
His ass. Sit his
Like,
ass. I don't want
you
to see him
telling me
anymore.
we bring this guy in and they talk about, oh yeah, you got a good guard there, Galinsky. Yeah, he's the shit. Played for the Colts. Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, no, he's not. He's terrible. He's fucking terrible.
Sit him.
Yo, who the Eagles play next week? Just
The
just
Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, you can come on, hit. The link should be in the
You're gonna
stream.
win. You're gonna win that, and I know Dallas has a.
I'll drop it
cupcake.
again, bro.
Yeah, we got the Bears, then the Cowboys, and
They
then
got a softie. I saw
there's
it.
another team before you guys.
Cowboys play a very weak team also, so you both should win next week.
Who are the Cowboys playing?
Cupcake. I forgot. One of the worst teams.
Oh, there you go.
Cupcake, you can't say that after they almost lost to the Texans.
Yeah, but that was their wake up. I won't expect that again, but they still pulled it out. The win's a win.
Yeah.
You'll take a W any way you can get it, even if it's ugly. Oh, my God. Wow, good defense, San Francisco. Touchdown, Mike Evans, right down the right sideline.
Oh, I'm about to see that.
Trying to think who they're playing against.
Yeah, it was a nice touchdown.
There's a flag,
nice
though.
background there, bro. Nice background.
The Cowboys play the Jaguars next week.
You guys should be able to win that. They should be able to win that game. Oh, never mind.
It's not a cupcake. It's not a cupcake, but they'll win that game. They should win that game.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's going to come down.
Now they get the Trevor Lawrence they got today.
I ruined things, Adam.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has been playing some real good football lately.
On another note, former New York Giant Evan Ingram
wow,
had a good
Mike
game
Evans
today
was
too.
wide open.
He had a great game, as a matter of fact. Evan Ingram did.
That's good, yo.
Yeah, what up, Hitman?
Yeah,
What's good? What's good?
His squad,
scored 2 touchdowns. He scored 2 touchdowns. I think he had over 100 yards receiving. He was lights out, man.
Of course he did.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
What's going on, his squad, man?
I mean, the game went how I thought it was gonna go. So I mean, I ain't too upset.
It didn't even go the way I thought it was going to go.
Halftime
called it.
I hate
exactly what I said it was going to happen.
I mean, my thing is I hate Philly. I hate their fans. I mean, y'all two seem cool. I mean, not for me, but like I said it.
No, we're realistic.
Yeah, I was listening, and y'all definitely do see me, and I fuck with AK. He good people. I had him on my channel, and we broke down the game. You know, I said it in every facet. The Eagles are better. You know, they should have won this game, and I think I had it 34-21, something like that, or 31-21, something like that. But I mean, Philly's just a better team. They are what their record reflects. The Giants, I mean, despite them being injured, I think even if Adoree would have played in this game, maybe not 48, maybe like 30, maybe 33, but they're still a very dominant team, you know? But even with this, man, I've been eyeing Washington since we tied with Washington because not for nothing, man. And I actually, you know, somebody had to tell me this because I didn't really think about this. We tied with the team that, they didn't have Chase Young, but we were missing a lot of players in that game.
Yeah.
So, and we're getting players back. And I'm not saying that the Giants are going to go out there and put the work on Washington, but I think it's going to be a little different this time coming around. Now, granted, the win with Detroit doesn't help. I think they got 6 wins right now, right? They're 6-7.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm the same with Mac and Jeff. The Giants got to handle their business. I don't want to see this team lose, but when you play a team like Philly, that is one of the better teams in the league, you're going to get dominated like this. And this offensive line was bad. They gave up, I think it was 7 sacks today that I counted. It was horrible. Evan Neal had a bad game. I'm not going to get too on him because he's the rookie, but still he has to learn from it. But I got to credit that defensive line because that's a rotation that y'all got over there, man. I hate saying it. I know I'm giving them a lot of credit, but they have a solid rotation, man.
Don't talk about him anymore. I don't want that name ever spoken again. I hate that. I hate that name.
I love that name.
Penalties also hurt you.
Oh, absolutely.
They did. You're right.
Because when you look at there's this.
You could have shut us out in the first. For the first score, you could have shut us down, but you helped us by the penalty.
Yeah.
The second score that we had, you guys helped us by the penalties.
Yep.
I think you had 5 in the first quarter.
Yep.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. And the thing is that if you look at Fabian Moreau's second penalty that he had, which that would have put you guys at 3 and out and in a punting position. It to me, and I definitely want to ask Coach Ed Gladney this because I feel like he would know obviously better than I would. But it seemed to me like bad hand technique by Fabian Moreau. Like he didn't have to extend and cause a defensive pass interference. And it's penalties like that, like numbskull penalties that this team does where they shoot themselves in the foot. And it hurts us. And I gotta ask Jeff, I gotta ask Miz, I gotta ask Mac this because they're the Giants fans here. Why is it that every team in this damn league can run a rub route, but when the Giants do it, we have someone downfield? We have an offensive pass interference, and the play gets called back. You saw it against Dallas. You saw it today. Myrick gets hit on the crosser. It seems like whatever this team does, when they try to be somewhat creative than what we're used to seeing, it's a flag. They just can't execute.
No, but I mean, look, I'm not going to start complaining about penalties because the penalties had no effect on this game. Not enough of an effect anyway. But that one on Myrick, give me a fucking break. They don't call that on anybody else except for the New York Giants. That's the joke. That was a joke. That was not offensive pass interference. This dude was not blocking anyone. He was just trying to run through and run his route, whatever he was doing. That was not offensive pass interference. But look, that's neither here nor there. That's still, like I said, that has no effect on this football game whatsoever. We were just completely overmatched in this matchup. This was the damn Russian against Apollo Creed and Rocky IV. That's what this was.
That was a good reference.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
they did my man dirty. I hate that.
No, he's right.
We didn't belong on the field with that team.
In the first drive.
And let's be honest too, we suck ass against the run. We can't stop the run. We never can stop the run against anybody. Every single game we've given up major yardage on the ground to opposing teams, with or without Leo. Because we were doing it with Leo out there too.
They knew Leo was out, so they went right after it.
But my thing
I will say this: Miles Sanders, every team that we played, we run 7 yards a carry. So it ain't like your team. It was because your guys weren't on the field that can't stop it. Nobody. All the running that the Eagles do, they get 7 yards a carry.
If he dies, he
dies.
Okay, so this is my thing.
Honestly, take away put aside Bellinger and this receiver that we brought in from Buffalo, who's actually playing pretty damn good football.
Yeah,
right?
He is.
Take away those 2 guys, bro. We got garbage at the wide receiving core. I don't care. You could put Slayton in that. And I've always been a supporter of Slayton. He doesn't scare anybody, man. No. So we got garbage. We don't scare anyone. So you want to know why these plays don't work, Hits? That's why. We got no talent at the receiver that makes any corner back up a yard.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing, too. It's like on the topic of Hodgins, man, when we signed him, I definitely ran my mouth a little too early. And I'll be honest, I did. I said he's just going to be another guy. This is another Marcus Johnson. I just completely just brushed him off because I'm just like, we're dealing with trash right now at the wide receiver position. So that was just my expectations.
Yeah.
And he's been proving me wrong, man. He has been proving me wrong. I mean, back-to-back weeks with the touchdown. He had one taken back against the Cowboys. I mean, he's really coming on, man. And I think and I agree with you, Miz. I really do. I think to kind of continue on to that point, he's a player that the Giants got to bring back next year. One of the few, in my opinion, because the Giants are going to have to make some tough decisions. They really are. And I love Darius Slayton. He should, remain with the Giants to some capacity. But even then, I'm not going to be upset if he leaves. Yeah,
I have to be honest. I have to be honest. We need 2 outside starting wide receivers.
Oh, facts.
Slayton's once. We need 2.
Listen,
Slayton's a backup.
Let me just say this, man. Let me just say this real quick, and then I'm sorry. Let me just say this. As fans, right, we are so loyal to the names on this team. We're never going to get better if we keep bringing back the Slaytons and these fucking guys that just don't add up to NFL level talent. And it's a reason why we haven't had a good season. And I'm sorry, the 7-2 this year, I was also excited. I got news for you. That shit was fool's gold. Okay? Because we beat up bad teams on the schedule. And when it came down to the real schedule, you're getting what you're seeing now. Yeah, it is injuries. But what I'm trying to say, if you keep bringing back Slayton, and I love Shepard. maybe you bring it. I don't know, but if you keep bringing back these pieces that haven't worked for so many years, how can you expect to get better? How do you expect to get better?
Yeah,
you're
right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Move on from the guys that just aren't working out. Get new guys in here. Get new blood in here. Get new guys that can step up and try to at least. We need game breakers. We are so. Every team knows. Stack the box against us. You don't fear our outside talent. You don't even have to worry about them beating you over the top. Sometimes Slayton can do it. We need to absolutely destroy that wide receiver core and rebuild it back up. We need guys that can be true game changers. Philadelphia has that. Quez Watkins could be a starting wide receiver on our team.
Quez Watkins would be the number one receiver on our team.
Exactly.
He would be the number one guy.
He would be the number one receiver. We need outside wide receivers that can command a double team and give respect to the opposing defense. That's going to open up things for Saquon Barkley, whoever the hell the running back is.
I'll do you one even better. Zach Pascal will be number 2. They'd be 1 and 2 on our team.
He'll be our number 1.
Over top of what we got, bro.
He would be our number 1 right now.
You're talking about 3-4 people down their depth chart, and we're talking about those guys would be legitimate number 1s on the New York Giants team right now as it stands right now.
Let's get Adam in here. I know Adam's ready to go. But the thing is this, man. Let me just hits Slayton won't be here next year, even though you got some people on YouTube that are in love with him because he's been here. And he's played his ass off. Slayton won't be here next year. You want to know why? This guy Hodgins is taking his spot without a doubt.
Yep. No, I mean, you make a solid case there, man. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he was with the Giants, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they released him. Now, in regards to today, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been kind of like thinking, and before Adam come on, I'm going to say it before he says it. Give me a break.
Here we go. All right. Let's go.
Give me a break.
Go to it.
Wait, Adam here?
I know where you're going, so go to it.
He's about to come in. He's going to come in hot.
I'm waiting.
He's right.
I have a question for you guys. Are you guys, now I asked Jeff this question already, but are you guys mad that by what a trade deadline was, you guys didn't make a trade for a wide receiver?
No.
I'm not
needing one.
No.
Not so mad about that because
we want to make it a Super Bowl run this year. That's why this wasn't about this year. So don't give up assets for the next few years. So
we definitely need to hang on to the draft capital, everything like that, and clearly we don't have any players anybody would have wanted. So really,
I'll tell you one thing.
Jeff said the same thing. I was just trying to see if everybody was on the same page.
I found one problem with Daniel Jones. He doesn't know how to throw the ball on the outside flat. He misses all the time too wide. That's a throw he can never make. He can't make that throw.
He wanted to say something about that. I know that. I know Adam's coming on to get right to that. But like I told Adam all year, we go at it on the phone every week. We don't really go at it. He actually makes good points and almost convinces me. But I told myself I'm going to stay true to let Daniel Jones have his 18 weeks before we make a final decision. Yeah. And we're getting there. We're 4 weeks away from the really, really big decision.
So, here he is. Here goes Mr. Costas.
What the hell is going on, fellas? First and foremost, we need to get angry. Okay, I'm tired of sitting here listening to you guys. The only reason I came on here is because I'm sitting here listening to you guys go, oh, it's okay. We lost. We're getting our asses kicked. No! It's not time for that anymore. We were 7-2. We needed to come in here and show it. Every week I get roasted and telling you guys how bad this team was, and I get you're not a fan. You're just negative. You can't see anything. And now you want to sit here and be poo-poo of it? Give me a fucking break right now. Okay, this is why I'm so fucking fired up, because you guys sit here every week when I sit here on my show with Mac the Giant Fan, the real deal NFC East Roundup. We sit up here and we dissect this team, and every one of you guys in the chats roast me, every single one of you, when I tell you, oh, well, this team is not ready to play, blah, 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 oh, we're 7-2, we need to go out there and stomp on their face, we need to go win, we can't lie down. Adam, you're a jerk for thinking that we're going to lose coming into the game. That's all you guys say to me. And now you want to sit here when we're sitting here playing this team, and you want to be like, oh, it's okay, we're supposed to be embarrassed. Look, everyone told me in this game that we were not supposed to be getting embarrassed. Look what we did to the Cowboys. We hung with the Cowboys. We walked in here, we got embarrassed. Did one of you come back and say, hey, you were right? No, you didn't. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, motherfuckers. If you're not angry at this game, Don't worry about Washington. You guys are sitting there like, oh, Washington. How do you know Washington not licking their chops right now, sitting at their building in their house on 10 days rest, coming in saying, we can fuck this team up. This is our chance to get to the playoffs. We're sitting here resting on, we're going to beat Washington and the Colts. This is what I'm talking about. We can't just sit back on our fucking lazy boys and sit here and we're going to beat Washington. Because you know what? They're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing. You don't think Ron Rivera's going to have these boys fired up in their building? That's why this tie stinks, because we should have beat them in our building. If we beat them in our building, or hey, how about this? This is a thought. How about we beat the Lions when I said we should have beaten the Lions weeks ago? And everyone's like, oh, that loss doesn't matter. Well, guess what? It's staring us right in the face. We should already be in the playoffs. If we were a good team, we would have punched our ticket already.
You got a point there?
You got a point.
He made us all look stupid because he's right. He's right.
You got a point.
Right.
It's not over yet. We have this game next week. We do. We got.
I know that, Miz, but they do too. And it's just like, I just get sick and tired of people just resting on our laurels, so we're just going to beat Washington. As if Washington hasn't scrapped and clawed their way back into the playoff race and is sitting there saying, hey, we beat them. We don't need to worry about nothing. We handle our business. If we don't win against Washington, we win and now we're hoping the Eagles, oh, please, Eagles, can you not play your starters? Why? So their backups can beat our ass? Like, come on. Go out and take it. Go out and take it. Go out and take it. This team got it took to them up their fucking ass. That's what happened. We came in here. All right, you know what pissed me off? And I'm going to drop a little nugget right now. This is what I heard that Brian Dable say. As long as we keep it competitive at halftime, that's a losing mentality. You don't say that to your players. You don't say that to the media. You go in there and you fire these boys up and say, who cares if they're fucking 10-1? Let's go beat them in our building. No, you're saying just keep it competitive at halftime? That's not a message I want to hear. Not that I'm mad at Brian Dable, but come on. Because everybody that I talk to, even Coach whatever his name, Ed, says, when I say, oh, this is going to be a tall order, the Giants are going to lose. Well, if you already know you're going to lose that game, you're already defeating your attitude. Then why players are going to play for you if you're already giving up? That's my point. You want to say that they didn't show anything? Well, then you should have taken Daniel out of the second half and said, hey, listen, we're going to wave the white flag right here, keep everybody healthy and move on. They kept the kid in the game, which tells me they're trying to still play. I'm sorry I'm so fired up, but I'm just tired of sitting here every week getting roasted on one aspect of it, and then everyone comes in here and is like, oh, you know what? It's okay. We've already got our 7 wins. High five, everyone. No, once you got to 6-2, 7-2, the whole expectation changed at that point. You now need to play for the playoffs. Now you're losing, and you're understanding why we can't keep up with these teams.
Yeah.
Who wants to follow that up?
I'll follow it up. I mean, he's not wrong in everything he said. I mean, Adam's right. We sometimes are resting on our laurels a little bit when I think we're just going to go out there and beat Washington like it's the same Washington team we played the entire time. They are looking at this as just as big of a game as we are. I mean, this is their playoffs as well. It's not just a huge game for us; it's a huge game for them. And yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about it either. I said my piece earlier in the stream when I was at Mac. I was pissed off about it because I hate losing to the Eagles. But at the same time, I mean, the Giants have got to go out there and they got to handle their business. They got to go out there against Washington, handle their business, not, go out there and punch them in the mouth immediately. It's not going to be easy. This is going to be a tough game either way. It's not going to be easy against the Washington Commanders. They're a good team. And if our offensive line can't protect, that Washington D-line will be all over Daniel Jones and during this entire game because our offensive line is starting to regress right now the past couple of weeks. And Andrew Thomas, even the anchor Andrew Thomas, is starting to show some cracks out there at the left tackle position. So, I mean, I
don't want to hear about Tate Crowder anymore. Fuck that guy. That guy comes in and does nothing. Second half.
He sucks.
Look. Here's my thing about the Washington situation. Look, you can't obviously – I don't know. Anybody looking past Washington, they're fucking crazy. All right, point blank and period. But here's the thing with that situation. Okay, we went against the league's best. I feel like the Eagles are the best thing smoking in this league this year right now. Straight up. They're the best thing smoking in this league right now. We went up against them. We clearly see we don't match up even remotely to them. Not even remotely. Like, that's not even a conversation piece anymore. We know that we're not even in the same stratosphere as them. Okay? This Washington Commanders team, also a team that definitely has more talent than the New York Football Giants. But it's still not Eagle talent. So we got to go in there and know that these guys are a little closer to us, and we can definitely go in there and take advantage of some of their actual weaknesses. And we got to go in there and do it. No matter what it is, how we got to do it, figure out a way, get it done, and make it happen. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not trying to brush it off like it's going to be easy, but that's what has to be done. At the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. That now has to be done. This game is now an absolute do or die for your season. If you want any chance to play in the postseason, it has to start next Sunday against the Washington Commanders, and you got to get it done, figure it out one way or another. And it's going to be up to this coaching staff and these players getting these guys ready, being ready to be out there collectively. Offense got to figure out a way to be better than what the hell you are. Because right now it's like a laughing stock. This offense can't get out of its own way. It can't seem to do anything right.
The defense as well. Both sides of the football are terrible.
Today both sides were definitely terrible today. But I feel like this defense went against an offense that they never really had a chance against. Like they were saying earlier, even if we had a Dory Jackson, Xavier McKinney, hell, Leo Williams out there against this offense, let's face it, man. We're still outmatched against that offense. So I still put a lot more on this offense right now because this offense cannot execute. This offense cannot do the things it needs to do to help this football team along. This defense, I feel like, does give us so much more. It might not be the greatest, but I feel like they still give us so much more than this offense does. Defense was way outmatched today. I get it, and it looked horrible. It looked horrendous at most of the game for this defense.
I think this is the worst we've given up in many years. We've had bad coaches. Remember, we've had McAdoo, Shermer, Judge. I go down the list. This is the worst I've seen them get beat down by any team that they play. Well, I'm talking about right now in the last decade. I mean, I'm not going to go that far back. I mean, obviously,
the last 5 years, bro.
Right. I'm just saying.
5 years, we have 4 or 5 head coaches.
Exactly. But even Tom Coughlin got beat down some. But like his team, what concerns me is where's the edge of this team? The reason why we were so happy about this team going forward was we were always happy about them playing in games and being competitive. They look non-competitive out there. And I don't care who you're playing. You need to get up for this game. I don't care if they're the fucking best team in the league. You got to be like, yo, we're playing the best team in the league. Let's go put it on somebody right now. Right? The fact that they were basically lying down, the game was over at basically halftime. All right. And don't let the score fool you. Okay. They got one gimme touchdown because the fucking punter gave them because Allison Smith made a block. Other than that, they were shut down most of the day. Okay. And they had that one long drive where, again, I'm wondering, why are they methodically moving the football downfield? Why are you not in the hurry up? I know it worked and they scored a touchdown with Daniel Jones as he dives in and gets his touchdown. But that sequence of events to me was like, what are you doing here? You're down 2 scores, at least have some urgency. Don't pack it in, because to me, it's like, if you're going to pack it in, you should have put in Tyrod at the beginning of the fourth quarter and said, you know what, we're going to concede this. We're going to get guys some experience, blah, blah, blah. You played the kid up until the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. What purpose does that serve? Okay. And can we incorporate, I don't want to hear about Matt Breida anymore. He doesn't do shit. He needs to be on the bench next to fucking whoever else is out there, because Brightwell played a better game than him. Brightwell does more, is more decisive. He's not looking around like Breida is. Breida seems lost out there when he's playing.
I'd rather have Breida use more. I'd rather see Breida use more in the passing game. Actually, I do agree with you when I'm running the football. I'd absolutely agree with you. But I would like to see Breida incorporated more in the passing game, just because of the obvious lack of weapons we have to help us in the passing game. So just use you guys to the strengths that you can use them to the best of their ability and get the most out of them. That's what we're not doing with this offense. This offense, it's hard to watch most of the time.
It's painful.
Yeah. I agree with Mac on that one. You're exactly right on that, Mac.
It's like watching a tooth extraction, watching this offense.
Worse.
I mean, a prime example where Adam was talking about too a little is exactly the Houston Texans today. They didn't go in there to fucking Dallas and just lay down and say, "Oh, we 17-point underdogs. Y'all just gonna kick our ass." No, they did not do that. They went in there and gave the Cowboys everything they could handle. And the Cowboys had to earn every bit of that victory today. So that's exactly what I was looking for and expecting from these New York Giants today, and we didn't get that. I didn't expect to go in there and beat the best team in football because I know it was not a matchup that favored us. But at least play with some damn pride and go out there and have some fucking respect for yourself as an NFL player.
Like,
it doesn't matter.
Regardless of how you feel about the quarterback, you're leaving him out to dry. If you're just gonna go out there and not do anything to win and run your little RPOs at the end of the game and be like, oh, we're gonna continue our off, like that drive at the third quarter, they had fucking 7 minutes, and that's what you give us. You basically wasted all your clock doing RPOs to score a touchdown, and that was it. Like there's no urgency. And meanwhile the defense is playing a yeoman's job here and there. They're stopping them on some plays, getting some turnovers. It wasn't the best and the cleanest game by the Eagles by far, but yet everyone tells me any given Sunday, and I look at the Texans and everything they gave them in their building in Dallas, they gave them that kind of effort. And this guy at our house, we lie down for our fans. And now you want me to believe that this team is going to go on the road in a hostile environment and be like, yep, we're going to win. It's cool. Don't worry. We're going to lie down. We're going to lose anyways. No big deal. No, if you gave me the effort against the Texans, if you gave me the effort the Texans gave against the Cowboys in this game and we still lost because, we just lost, I would be like, all right, fine, whatever, bro. I'll give you the Washington game. When you come out and get absolutely embarrassed, like that hurts your pride, bro. People see that. This is the NFL.
Was chanting MVP for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
No, I mean, I'm not.
That pissed me off the most. Is listening and seeing Eagles fans dancing in our stadium, singing MVP for Jalen Hurts. That's what set me off. I'm so tired of seeing opposing fan bases come into our stadium with that kind of mindset after we get our asses whooped. It's like every single year this stuff happens. Come out with some pride. Yeah.
We're not ready.
Have pride.
It was Jones. Nobody. It's all Jones.
Everything's about Jones. The Jones does not play every position on this fucking team.
Listen. Look, I'm not even complaining. I'm not even complaining about the kid right now.
Maybe Adam's right. Maybe Jones is not the guy for the future. Maybe it's over in 4 weeks. But even if you get another guy that can scramble and do all that, you got to get him a receiver that somebody's scared of a little bit because ain't nobody scared of these guys.
Well, the thing is like this. We're in a rebuilding mode. Next year we could possibly be in more shit than we already are in because we're going to not have as much talent as we think we have. And we're going to go up against the AFC East, who is the NFC East counterpart right now, with every team over there is over 500. Okay, not to mention we still play the Cowboys and the Eagles next year twice, so they're going to obviously get better. So if you are in a rebuild, be in the rebuild, tear it all down, because right now our best players aren't playing their best, regardless of what people want to say. They aren't, and I don't know what is up with Barkley. If he's injured, he shouldn't have played this game. Regardless, you shouldn't have put him in. You're putting him in there, him getting stifled and getting a little banged up because you saw him using that shoulder doesn't do you any good. Doesn't do you any good. If he can play, you play him. If you really wanted this game, then you play everybody and you play him to the end because you're letting your quarterback hang out to dry there because he was getting crushed left and right. And I don't even like the kid, and I can see that he was getting crushed. And it's not that I don't like the kid. It's just that this is not the day to bash Daniel Jones right now. Okay, he's not. Even though he had a pedestrian number.
Right. I will say this: Adam's right because your offensive line was just letting the Eagles get to your quarterback.
7 sacks today.
Yeah. So you can blame the quarterback.
7 sacks and several pressures.
Yeah, you want to blame the quarterback all the time, but you don't have wide receivers to help them.
No.
And you don't have an offensive line. Your offensive line could not help him.
No.
So the only person you can really blame is the coaching. If it's the general manager not getting the right players in there. I mean, you had
a chance at the trade deadline to get somebody to make a playoff run to have legitimacy in what you're doing, and they decided not to. And if you really like your guy, you really like the guy under center, you don't hang him out to dry. This kid, regardless, if the Giants struggle next year, which this is another reason why I want him to go, if the Giants struggle next year and he has to be replaced anyways, even if he has a good season, that's going to be on his record. And he'll never have a career again if the Giants don't make the playoffs next year as well. He won't. So it's best for him right now to be like, look, we're in a mess right now. We have a lot more problems than we think. That 7-2, like you said, is a little bit more false than we believe. Let's, you go to your team, find a team that's better, that has better equipped weapons that can protect you right now, because we can't obviously do it. We got to do the whole receiving core. We got to change the whole interior of the offensive line. We got to get the whole defensive backs there, right? We got to get all new linebackers.
Yeah.
Right? So the list of shopping, you can't get all this shit at Walmart, even when it's on clearance, right? And that's when the Giants have been shopping, is in the clearance rack for every piece of material they got. And I do blame Joe Shane a little bit, because you knew in April what kind of team you had. Right? Once you started not playing Kenny Golladay and the trade deadline came up and you made no moves, that shows me all you need to know. You were like, fuck it. I don't care what happens this season. I'm still going to do what I got to do. And so for me, that's what it looks like right now. I'm not saying they're mailing it in, because that would be stupid. But to me, this team looks out of sorts, disarray. How the fuck do we tie a game against a team that basically plays the same as we do? We play the same as we do. The Texans, we didn't even really beat the Texans that badly. And yet here we are. That game is what basically was the catalyst to our season. We came out and, I wouldn't say struggled, but had our dips in that game. We got a lot of injuries, but yet we didn't play well enough in that game. And all of a sudden we lost to the Lions, who people roasted me about. The Cowboy game, it wasn't as bad as you think. The Cowboys played their C game and beat us, right? Then we play the fucking Washington Commanders, who everyone's telling me we're going to win. We tie them. Same problems are still persisting. And now we go into a Philadelphia team, and it's all about momentum. Right now, our momentum is nothing. We have nothing to hang our hats on. Yeah, Azeez Ojulari got a couple sacks. Great job. Kayvon Thibodeau got a couple sacks. There is nothing that we can really hang our hats on that gives me confidence that says we're going to go into a hostile environment with a team that has rest on prime time, where we don't do well at all anyways, not just with Daniel Jones, but in the history of the Giants, okay? And now go in there and beat them. I don't think they're ready. I just don't. I don't know if that's the coach. I have no idea. But there are some questionable things that are going on right now in these last 4 weeks.
Very questionable.
Yeah.
Listen.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Raphael.
Yeah, finally, because after those words at Amon Costas, that would be incredible.
That's the voice of the Giants for a reason.
Yes, I just listened, but that was great. But I was watching between Philadelphia Eagles versus New York Giants. But that game, just like a poor start, and Daniel Jones was sacked twice at the opening drive, or something like the poll. And then the Eagles just marched 84 yards in a 14-play drive that is staggering off the clock, culminated a touchdown for Miles Sanders. So my question is, do you think that the defense will be improved more better for the New York Giants, or is it because Daniel Jones is not the issue about to blame it? Because
What's the question? Well,
the question is.
Repeat the question. I didn't understand the question.
Okay, so the question is, so it is time to rebuild a new defense for the New York Giants, or
why? This is a really young defense to begin with.
He's asking you a question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the question is it time to rebuild a bigger defense for the New York Giants for the next season, or for all these fans right there, for all these fans for the New York Giants, is it time to blame Daniel Jones about what happened today after Philadelphia Eagles?
No, because it's not Daniel Jones' fault that his offensive line can't completely protect the entire time. It's not Daniel Jones' complete fault that the defense was giving up big plays in this game overall. It's not Daniel Jones' fault that the punter drops an easy ball right in his hands and they give the Eagles perfect field position. Daniel Jones wasn't great. Daniel Jones hasn't been great. Daniel Jones has been what Daniel Jones is. He's mid. He's mid to good.
Look,
that's it. It's not all his fault.
Here's the day. Daniel Jones today, man. Daniel Jones was under fire the whole damn game today. So I'm not really going – I can't sit here and take shots at Daniel Jones today. He was under fire the whole damn game. I know the numbers were like what they were, but he got help from basically no one today in any aspect. of this game. So it is what it is with Daniel Jones. We know what Daniel Jones is, and and things ain't right around him here.
No.
So this is not right. This is not a team constructed for Daniel Jones at quarterback. It's just not. Things got to be situated right. He's got to have his receivers. He's got to have an offensive line that can block. We don't have any of that right now. So as far as your defense, you asked about the defense too. This defense right now, honestly, it needs to get healthy for one thing. Need to get healthy, get these guys back on the field. The secondary is a mess right now, and then just gotta add the pieces you still need, like those linebackers. Got to get some better linebackers out there, and just get a few more pieces. This defense can be a top 10 defense with just a few more additions. Honestly, when they're healthy and get a few more pieces in place, this defense can be absolutely legit. You see, what they were doing, what the defense was doing earlier in the year was not a smoke screen, in my opinion. They were just healthy, and now they're not. So it's impacting.
Well, I'm going to disagree there for a little bit. And we're giving these people great nuggets right now. I should save some of the stuff for later. But the point, I disagree because I think we played a lot of teams that were marginal. And coming out of the gate, they didn't know how we played. Now I think the NFL is starting to figure us out. And that's what happens in the NFL when you have these games. The more game tape they get on you, the more film they have to watch, the weaknesses get exposed. And I think right now we couldn't expose the weakness that well before, but now with guys going down, it's made those weaknesses even worse. Like the safety, the back safety, the linebacker. We're interchanging linebackers like people change underpants. My God, we had Tay Crowder, then Michael McFadden, then Jalen Smith, Austin fucking Carlitro. My God. And we still don't have a competition.
No, I think he got picked up by the Raiders. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, but sorry about that question. Yeah, sorry about that question.
No, don't apologize.
Don't be sorry about your question. But yeah, I would agree with Mac. It's your offensive line is not helping Daniel Jones. You don't have wide receivers, and if you're trying to play firepower, and you got to have that firepower to go against there. The wide receivers you have, they missed a lot of passes that were good passes. Sometimes Daniel Jones could not do the sweep. He cannot throw to the running back. He was having problems doing that. Yes, but your wide receivers are missing a ball that they got hit in the chest with today.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to blame Daniel Jones for that? He can't catch the ball too. He was putting the ball where they should have caught it in some spots, but sometimes your wide receiver couldn't catch it.
It's a collective thing. It's a collective thing on the offense. It's been a collective effort on the offense for a better part of a few years. Remember, the Giants have not scored 30 or more points in a football game since week 4 of 2020. In the new age NFL, the Giants have not scored 30 or more points since week 4 against the Cowboys in 2020. Let that sink in. The Giants have been behind the ball when it comes to offense. This offense has been abysmal. We have not had a good game-breaking wide receiver on the outside since OBJ in his prime. We have not had a solid offensive line since our Super Bowl teams back in 2007 to 2011. We have not had a good linebacking core, and I don't even know how long, or a good middle linebacker since Antonio Pierce. Our secondary has been up and down, getting beat at times, but it's been decent. Not great. And maybe we did take advantage of a very easy schedule. But we're getting smacked back down to reality. And Giants fans, we needed it. And the one thing that fears me the most.
Here's the thing, real quick. I'm sorry, Jeff. But
go ahead.
Keep saying take advantage of an easy schedule. But here's the reality. We were 4-13 last year. We are the easy schedule.
Well, but the entire
when we beat other teams that were bad like we were a year ago.
I heard guys saying that the Eagles didn't play anybody, and that's the reason why we're going to beat them, because they played nobody. Newsflash, we played everybody the Eagles played, minus a few teams.
Schedule's almost identical for 3 games. I don't
Right.
know what was
So,
that's
but
crazy.
let's be honest, though. That's why they feast or famine on those teams. Now, the problem that I had was when we played games against like the Lions in Seattle, games that we needed. That's where we came up short, and those are the games that we needed, and that's what I understood why where this team was at. I'm not saying 7-2 is fool's gold. I'm just saying we had talent issues that when guys come in on the Eagles, they lost their tackle. They bring in another guy and he blocks. We bring in a backup offensive tackle, and on the first play, he gives them a sack. Like, I mean, it's just like the talent in this roster has rotted to the core, and we just need to basically let this regime clean house. I know people, like Miz said it best, people get too caught up with these players like Jones, Barkley, all this. Oh my God, we're so nice. They're nice guys. Who cares? Have they won anything with us? No. Have we lost a ton with them? Yes. Move on. You know what I mean? Let them go. Let them go have careers that they need, right? Let them go to teams that might use them. Like, look at Christian McCaffrey. He's in the 49ers right now, loving friggin' life because he's out of Carolina. And he can be the back that he can be.
Yeah, but remember the last time.
Remember
the last time that the New York Giants had the worst season under the regime of Judge. Now that season with Brian DeBall, it seems like rebuilding. But in my opinion, in my defense, they need a bigger defense if they healthy. Because how are you gonna win? How are you gonna have like an injury report against Philadelphia Eagles? So, in my opinion, who's gonna stop the Philadelphia Eagles? There's nobody. And New York Giants, with a lot of injury reports, they just lost against Philadelphia Eagles. And
but that's not true because Washington beat the Eagles. It's any given Sunday too. Yeah. You got to get healthy.
Injuries are not an excuse. They're not an excuse.
Thank you.
Not an excuse.
Thank you. Everybody's injured across the board.
This is the NFL, man.
Yep.
These guys are all in the NFL. This is why I don't make your numbers called.
That's why I don't make excuses for the receiving core, because guess what? You're in the NFL. You brought here for a reason. The thing is this: we think that these Giants don't know what they're doing. They see these guys day in and day out. They know how bad or good these players are. We don't. We only see them on Sunday. They see them Monday through Saturday. They know who's good, who's bad, who'll be here next year. They have all the ins and outs. They know who's studying extra. They know, right? The trade deadline came and went. If this team wanted to be a playoff team, they should have made it. They should have made a move. They decided they didn't want to. They decided they didn't want to invest in their guy under center, because they were like, you know what, we will, because you can't tell me that next year we get a receiving core that's drafted, that all of a sudden this receiver is going to be, Odell Beckham or out the gate good. We have no idea, especially if we're drafting in the middle of the rounds. Right? We have no idea. And everyone's like, well, everyone gives me this succession plan. This is the question that I hate, right? Well, if you got rid of the quarterback, who would you bring in? Well, if you got rid of the receivers, who are you bringing in? Okay, because it's the same question around the board. Are you bringing in? Because if you look at the free agency class, ain't nobody really that good in the free agency class in the receiving core at all, right? There's a lot better running backs coming out, but who knows what's going to happen? And that's why I tell people you just got to let it play out. But you can clearly see what we're missing. You can clearly see the deficiencies in players. I don't need another year of another player or another player. If you're going to rebuild, rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of it, right? These guys were here for a year. That's why they were supposed to be. That's why we were so excited, right? Everyone picked us to lose, and here we are now struggling the way we probably should have been struggling the entire season, but we happened to, whatever it was in football, like they said, any given Sunday, play well, but we knew we couldn't sustain it. We don't force turnovers, okay? We don't do much. Exactly. We don't do much. Our defense is good. It's bend but don't break, but it's not a defense that gets the ball back consistently, right? They put 3 and outs.
I want to bounce off, Adam, your point a little bit too. When we get to the offseason eventually, no matter what this team does, whether we make the playoffs, whether we don't make the playoffs, I want this front office, this coaching staff to really take a deep look at some of these players, and I'm including Saquon Barkley. I'm including Daniel Jones. I'm taking everybody and take a real close look, because we're fans for a reason. We love some of these guys to a fault. You take a look at this team and you really believe, are these guys that are on this team presently after this season, should we bring them back because they actually can be potential long-term pieces, or do we believe we can upgrade on these guys going into the offseason? No sentimental crap. No sentimental crap.
Well,
As much as I love these guys, I would let them go if it's to help improve this team at a certain position.
But that's the beauty of having Joe Shane and Brian Dable here. That's the beauty of it. They don't have no attachment to any of these guys.
They're cutthroat. They'll do it.
No attachment at all. It's not like they were New York Giant guys or they were part of the organization when some of these guys got here. They don't have no ties to these guys at all. So they're going to make the decisions that they feel best for the New York Giants. I mean, like he did this past offseason. I mean, he did things that he thought was best for the Giants. And, I mean, I guess in some way it paid off a little bit. This team has made a big turnaround from a year ago. But at the same time, we're clearly still not where we need to be. We clearly still don't stack up to the best. As we saw today, what the Eagles did to us is something similar to what I'm sure Buffalo would do to us, or what I'm sure Kansas City would do to us if we were on the field with teams like that. I mean, we just don't stack up to opponents of that caliber, obviously. So, it's going to be exciting to see going forward. I don't want to rush to the offseason yet while we still have the little bit of hope that we do have left. Yeah, but at the same time, we'll see what happens, man.
I mean, if you want a comparison about about a team and what happens when you're bereft of talent, look at what Carolina did in 2015 with Cam Newton. He carried that team on his back to the Super Bowl. All right, they had Greg Olsen, they had a good defense. I get it, but he had Ted Ginn Jr. He had some other receiver I don't even know, and a few other guys that weren't skill position players there. And what happened? He single-handedly turned that team around. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get that in the receiving core, but I'm looking around the league and I see things. Like, look right now, Brock Purdy, whatever his name is. Kyle Shanahan brings in a guy, and like clockwork, they don't miss a beat. Right? We come in and we can't get out of our own way.
Deebo Samuel's got a knee injury. He's holding his knee.
We can't do anything right now. That's why I'm saying we need to let these guys pick their guys, because I've seen the last 4 years of Saquon. While I love the guy, great, but where are you in your biggest spots that we need you in? Right? Yeah. You haven't done anything in the last 4 years to prove that you need to be kept here. And I don't want to. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we have all this cap space for what? If you sign all these players, you ain't got no cap space. You know what I'm saying? You sign all these players, that cap space is gone. And the 49ers are gonna. Yeah. He's out for it. Looks like he's.
That looks like a bad one. Deebo
looks like a bad one.
Injury.
Yeah. Oh damn.
Yeah, that's a bad one. He's down.
He's always like
going up in smoke.
Fuck, man, I got him in my fantasy lineup today.
Everybody, you get people out of your fantasy lineup. Everybody you get in fantasy always gets injured. Bro. Every time you put that. Every time I talk to you every week, you're like, oh, my fantasy team this guy got injured. Now my fantasy team is done. I'm like, dude, Max, you are the curse this year.
Last year, I just lost the fantasy football league, and I just lost it. That was embarrassing, because that was the first time that I was doing fantasy football league, but I was embarrassed because I was taking the worst players, and they didn't give me the best, so I was always low.
So I could never do fantasy. I just wouldn't be able to deal with it. I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
For what it's
I
worth,
don't care about football.
I had Devontae Smith in one of my lineups today too. I wasn't.
Oh, at least you're happy about that one.
I wasn't cheering for him to do well, but at the same time, I left him in the lineup because I had a feeling that he would do well. Yeah. So
who was the player you're talking about?
Devontae Smith.
Oh, you would play an Eagle on your fantasy team. You're such a Brutus, man. You're such a Brutus.
I also played the Eagles defense, bro. Because I had the Eagles defense.
Mac, what are you doing here, man?
Raphael said he had a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. I gave up wins in fantasy just to not play those players. So there you go. And money was on the line. And I said, you know what? I can't do it. I just cannot do it. Now he plays against somebody else. Fine, whatever. But I had Zeke Elliott, and I didn't start him at some points because I was just like, I can't start a Cowboy on a Giant. Like me, I'm a Giant fan. I can't do it. I can't. There's 32 other teams. These 3 teams I stay away from if I can. I don't care if it's like I like Jalen Hurts. I don't like him. I don't like him because he plays for the Eagles. But like, if he was on the board, I'm probably going to be like, you know what? I'll even take Daniel Jones here just because he's a Giant, just because he's an Eagle.
Cole's Cowboys on the morning show this morning in the chat.
He did
say
that.
The Texans are dangerous, and everybody was laughing and clowning, talking about how bad the Texans was going to get blown out.
Yeah. They slept on the Texans. Give me a break.
He said the Texans were dangerous.
My God, We did, and then I got laughed at. Do you know how many people in Twitter space and everything were telling me, yeah, we're going to keep this team down to 20 points? I'm like, yeah, we're going to get the doors blown off. You're not a fan. You don't know what you're talking about. And here we are. The doors
Don't
are
you
blown
love it
off.
when people tell that to you, Adam, that you're not a fan when you actually talk like some legit
They
truth?
said we were going to hold the Eagles defense to only 20. I mean, the Eagles offense to only 20 points.
Right, that's what they said. People were saying to me. They're like,
that's a crazy assessment.
I was like,
they would think that
I don't agree with that assessment.
No, I had people in Twitter space say the Giants were going to score 35-17. I was like, are you smoking? Because I'd like to smoke some of that. You must be high as a kite.
Points?
I had the Giants scoring 27. I was almost close.
20.
I had 28.
You were almost close.
Oh my god!
Well, I guess you counting horseshoes and hand grenades. I guess we're almost close because they were scored 27 points.
I had the Eagles 42-27 before they
I had 28-21.
I forgot about that garbage touchdown that Tyrod scored because, like in a Dallas game, I don't even count that score. In the Dallas game, I thought we lost 28-13. Right? This game, I didn't even remember Tyrod scored a touchdown, which is kind of interesting because when you saw him at 45-yard run, it was like, damn. I was like, damn, Tyrod. I didn't know he still had the wheels like that.
Seattle has gotten back into it, y'all.
Oh, what's the score? Oh, there goes Tebow.
Touchdown. Just scored another touchdown. It's 20-4. About to be 20-14.
35 points. Good. What insane Giants fan with this offense think we're scoring 35?
And this is what I mean, right? The 49ers got guys going down. The 49ers play Seattle and they play the Washington Redskins, right? So there's no guarantee that we're going to, just because we beat Washington, that we get in, right? And that's the thing is like, this team right now has shown me nothing the last 4 weeks that even gets me excited for them to be in the playoffs. Like Tampa Bay stinks, but they could easily put up 30 points on us in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? They stink right now. Their defense is not playing. I think it's because of Todd Bowles, if you really want to know the truth. I told somebody that. I don't think Todd Bowles is a good coach, and it's proving it right here. But,
you're right.
My God.
He's not a good head coach, that's for sure.
He's a great defensive coordinator. He can't be a head coach. He's not a good head coach.
I mean, Bruce Arians needs to come down for the Super Bowl run and be like, listen, we need to just move you to the side real quick. I'll coach this team because you stink right now. I mean, you're losing to the backup quarterback. You know what people used to say when you lost the backup quarterbacks? They're like, how do you lose the backup quarterback? I mean,
I ask Tom Brady that all the time.
You know what? He's not the backup quarterback. Oh, you're talking about Nick Foles. Yeah, but that was just a magic run that you guys were on. You shouldn't have won. You should have lost to Minnesota, but that's a different story.
How is that?
Trust me, I was at the Giant Eagle game, and I watched that defense play against a team of nobodies, a team of janitors out there, and you gave up 28 points to us. And I'm like, you want me to believe this team's defense is good? And if it wasn't for Brandon Graham getting in the backfield, Tom Brady had 2 minutes. He was cooking. He was cooking on that field in the Super Bowl. I was like, damn, Tom Brady's gonna have his magic again.
Hey, it's a modern day.
Oh, damn, Brady still got it too. Look, I say his name, and good things happen.
There's a nice
because I have him on my fantasy team.
Oh, you too, huh?
Daniel Jones.
Man, I don't know how you guys can deal with fantasy.
You benched Daniel Jones? Why? He puts up so many fantasy points. Not.
I had Tom Brady.
How many fantasy points did he even have today?
Actually, because of Daniel Jones' running ability, he's actually not a horrible fantasy option, especially if you're in a two quarterback league.
Hey, he led the team in rushing today.
Definitely a good second.
What I say every week, every time.
He did not. Tyrod Taylor led the team in rushing this week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Even better. I'm sorry.
Put that in perspective.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mac. That's even better. Tyrod
Taylor led the team in rushing today.
In the fourth quarter.
He played the last 5 minutes of the game and led the team in rushing.
My running back got negative 0.1.
This team has got a lot of issues.
Mr. Dante, why couldn't you guys just please finish off that damn Dallas Cowboys?
Hold on. Let me come back. I hear echo. Hold on, y'all.
No, see, he's even pissed off about the Texans losing. Oh my God. Yeah, that's pretty bad when Tyrod Taylor, who comes in the second half of the fourth quarter, ends up being your leading rusher. That's pretty bad.
My fantasy league, I'm on a bye week.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter anyways.
That's So who have the 49ers lost already? They lost Jimmy G, they lost Lance, and now they lost Devo. Is anybody else on that team that's hurt?
Elijah Mitchell's hurt again too.
That's right. They lost the running back. Yeah, they lost the running back.
Came back,
too.
played 2 games, and got hurt again. He's also on my fantasy team, by the way. He was my one. He was also on my fantasy team, Elijah Mitchell, and got hurt week 1.
And Mac, are you thinking about waving the white flag with the fantasy team? I mean, this is getting crazy now, bro.
I've done it. I focus on basketball now.
That doesn't help.
It helps me.
No, this is brutal. What's up, Coach?
What up?
How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
Hey, yo. Come on.
Hey, you were competitive against the Cowboys. You were competitive there.
Yeah.
We always competitive. We competitive every game. If our offense can give us 20 points a goddamn game, 23, we can win. We'll be 4-7. We'll be 7-4 at this point. If our offense can do that, really done that every game this year. Our defense is really actually competitive, but competitive defense. The problem has been the offense all year long. That was the problem.
Yeah, I like your defense. I think you got a nice little core of good defensive players on that side of the field. You just need to keep building up that offense. And Davis Mills, the guy made some nice throws out there when he was out on the field. I think Davis Mills is not terrible. I think he's a solid quarterback.
I don't think he's terrible.
Not helped.
I don't think he's terrible, but I also don't think he's the guy. But I don't think he's terrible. I just think he's the backup.
Who do you think is going to be if you're? I think I've asked you this before. If you had to have your pick of what quarterback you want in the draft, who would you be your number 1 guy?
Bryce Young. Well, it really don't matter. I'll take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, but I would prefer Bryce Young.
Is Lovey a one and done guy?
Who? I think so. I'm hearing rumors, a lot of rumors about that. I'm hearing rumors about he's a one and done guy. Him and Pep. I heard rumors all about the whole everybody's getting canned. I heard rumors about that. There is some rumors out there, but I think he's not the future for this organization. So why not just move on from him? Why not just do it and just start fresh and just get someone like a D'Amico Ryans or someone like that. Just get someone younger or something like that. So I won't be shocked.
That would be a nice hire for you guys. You bring back D'Amico Ryans to Houston as your head coach. That would be a pretty nice little thing going on there. I mean, at least you guys showed effort.
You guys later.
That would be great.
At least you showed effort today, unlike our team.
See you later, guys. Thanks for having
Appreciate
me
you
on.
coming through halftime, man.
Hey, y'all, you weren't so worried about the Texans. Y'all, you was out there getting killed in the secondary. Every time I'm looking at the replay, I see AJ Brown, Devontae Smith wide open, running up the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
That's exactly what you saw every time. Like I said, it looked like you. Like I said, I was telling Adam when we was texting earlier, like he was at a damn. Like the Eagles were just at practice. Like, seriously, it looked like they were at practice.
It was like a scrimmage out there on the football field.
It did look like that. That's how easy they were making everything look. It was like they were just at practice.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac, I'm trying to see if my eyes right. I was just trying to see if my eyes right. I didn't know you was gonna say it, but I was just trying to see if my eyes saw what I saw.
Absolutely,
a lot of wide open receivers.
It was brutal. Oh, AJ Brown, that wide open touchdown on the left side. Yeah, nobody was even near him.
I'm trying to see if y'all saw what I saw. I saw a whole bunch of Eagles receivers wide open.
Hey, Devontae Smith almost got 2 touchdowns. He had the one on the side.
He could throw it to anybody. He could have thrown to the water boy. He was throwing tight ends that weren't doing shit.
On 4th and 7.
In
a situation that seemed like this is kind of unconventional, to go for it on 4th and 7 here. And they went for it and scored a touchdown.
They went for it?
Yes, they did. And they scored a touchdown.
It was bad enough. It was bad enough the guy caught it because it was a beautiful play. So it would have been like a nice catch and then a hit. But then Julian Love decided to play like he was a bull matador and say "Ole" to Ole. Bye-bye. Just let him go. Up. I'm just gonna he didn't even put his hand up. He was like playing tag. Up. I got you. Oh, sorry, we're not playing tag. Guess not.
You know what it's like?
I'm good.
And you guys had that thing.
Julian Love, Darnay Holmes gets roasted again in the slot, and Julian Love just runs right by him. But I mean, are you being serious here?
I gotta pop off. I gotta do the Sixers stream. So,
all right, Mitch, man, take it easy, bro.
Have a good one.
Stop smiling so much, man.
Hey, you don't have
Can you
to
put him in
Well,
timeout again, Adam? Can you put him in timeout, please?
No, he earned it. I mean, he beat us down. No
Don't worry,
timeout for
don't
him.
worry, don't worry. Mitch always had a hand with a smile because he always happy because the Eagles won and well.
I don't like watching him happy. I'm
when
tired
it
of
comes
every
to
Eagles
wrestling,
fan
that's
being
another
happy.
The
Y'all
Eagles
ain't
didn't
telling
just win, though. The Eagles didn't just win. They absolutely dominated the
They
New York
shellacked
Giants
us.
for
No,
4
Brock
quarters. It was
Brock
never
Purdy.
a game, and it was never in question. Yeah, Brock
Look at
Purdy
Brock,
was
look at
out
Brock
here
Purdy out here.
balling.
Oh my
Whoever
God.
Brock
I
Purdy is out here
thought
balling.
y'all defense was better than that. I didn't know they went for it on a 4th and 7.
Yeah, they did, and they
Oh
converted
my
for a
God.
touchdown. Oh, they did. Oh, and by the way, Coach Dante, we almost gave up about 200 yards on the ground.
Damn, y'all,
Oh,
they
you said
Yeah.
almost. Did you say almost?
Oh
Did
my
we give
God.
up 200? I didn't see the final
Oh
stats.
no! We gave up over 200 yards on rushing.
Oh,
on the
that
ground,
doesn't
brother.
surprise me. We can't stop
It wasn't-
anybody on the
we
ground.
almost gave up 300 yards.
So
rushing
y'all
on
had
the ground,
Oakland.
bro.
They had so they having a 7-on-7 scrimmage, and now they were running the football. They had over 300 yards on the ground.
If
Almost
you want to
300
call
yards.
that, it was like mandatory minicamp all over again.
Golly, it was a scrimmage game.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was.
It was like that fan fest type of scrimmage. You invite the
Yeah.
fans, come watch us, guys. Come into the building and watch us just showcase what our offense is going to be this year. And that's exactly what it looked like. We were just that defense out there getting absolutely shellacked. The Eagles doing whatever they wanted to do all day long. Yeah, absolutely. Eagles had 253 yards on the ground today, collectively.
sorry.
Miles Sanders had 144 of those yards. Jalen Hurts contributed 77 of those yards. Boston Scott chipped in a little 33. Yes, it was like that. They ran wild on our defense.
I heard he had a 66-yard punt return too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
did.
Boston, he
Oh,
did.
he did.
Not for a touchdown, but yeah,
Yeah.
they set him up for another touchdown that they scored. Yeah.
We had that block. We had that block punt by Ellerson Smith, and we got that touchdown to Saquon Barkley. And we're thinking maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit of smither of hope, and then Boston Scott returns it down the right
We
sideline.
even
on the way to
almost
35.
screwed up the block punt, though. That's what I was fuming. We almost screwed up the block punt as well. Like, that's how bad things was going for this New York Giant team today. Literally blocked the punt, and their punter almost picks up the first down with his legs, scoops the ball up, and literally almost gets the first down. And had he been a regular player probably and more aware of where he was on the field, he probably would have gotten the first down. So it was just like, thank God it was just a punter. That's how bad things was going for the New York Giants in this game. It was
Jamie
that
Gillen
serious.
Jamie Gill
Our
is starting
punter.
to get towards the
Our
Ryan
punter.
Dixon area. It's bad.
Just catch the damn snap and kick the ball. Your job,
How
that's
you
what it
drop
is.
a snap? How? My God, it's in his hands, and he's trying to make a. It's just it's
Scottish punter then drops it on the floor, then decides, hey, let me kick it anyways. And it turns out to be a penalty that I've never heard in
I never heard
my
of it
entire
either, but
life.
you still got
My entire
as a
life of watching
player,
football.
You got to be aware of the rules as a player.
Listen, in my entire life, I have never
seen that either
heard
before.
of an illegal kick. An illegal kick. That was the penalty. An illegal kick and then loss of down. I was like, what the hell was that? It's like intentional grounding for a punter. You can't do that shit. And then you know how dumb he looked? He dropped it on the floor. It's like, oh, I'm just going to keep kicking it.
But then we also find out that this illegal kick penalty is a spot is like a spot penalty or something. So the Eagles just got the ball from that spot. Right from that spot.
They lost the ball. Not only did they lose the ball, you get the spot back, and then it's like they score. It's like, well, calamity of errors. You thought I feel like there's one of these a game. First, it was the Richie James fucking Three Stooges play last week, and then it's right. Then it's the kicker kicking into the friggin' back of his end zone. Like the Giants find new ways to lose games.
At our own stadium, it's happening. Right on the road, it's happening at our own stadium.
Right, exactly.
I almost dropped my microphone.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just saying, like, Hey guys, like that's exactly what happens. The circus came into town in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and the ringleaders were Daniel Jones, the punter, and a few other idiots. I'm just like, my God, I'm sitting here like, I probably should have done something else on Sunday than burn 3 hours of watching this calamity of errors. And we want to play like we want to. I love Dayball and everything. My God, this guy is like, he looks like Santa Claus right now. I'm like, come on, bro. Where's all this magic I saw? It's like all of a sudden we're in a playoff spot. Let's make it real tight. We'll be real tight with it. Everything's a tight. That's why another thing I don't think they're going to, unless you come out against Washington and you play like with your hair on fire. With your hair on. I don't want to see the first game they do a little rollout, dump off to Bellinger, who, by the way, had 2 catches for 25 yards. Yeah, I told you guys before. Yes, Bellinger is good, but he ain't no threat to do much. Okay, like come on.
Well, I think. Hold on. In his defense, I think he would be a lot better with some more respectable wide receivers.
He would be a lot better if the offense wasn't a handoff and turn around for 5 yards.
I think that too. I agree, but I think. Somebody like Bellinger is showing me enough that if you had some credible wide receivers on the outside to loosen up any kind of coverage on him as well, then I think he could be a legitimate weapon. And I think that's more of a factor of that. Bellinger, to me, was coming along before that eye injury.
Did you just see what Brock Purdy just did?
Mr. Irrelevant is being relevant, is becoming relevant. They're up by 4 touchdowns in the first half. This guy is a 7th-round pick. We can't even get our quarterback to throw to somebody. This guy's a 7th-round. Oh, God. This is what makes football suck sometimes.
Without Deebo Samuel, too, so there's no excuses. He's still throwing touchdown passes out
Patrick
there.
Mahomes just throw Russell Wilson just threw a touchdown pass. And the Denver Broncos are back in this football game.
Oh my God. Can we switch? Can you switch, Fox? Give me a different game. Is there Tom Brady, man? Oh, man, you're divorced? I don't know what's happening. Brock Purdy's dad is all happy. He's from Iowa. They were picking potatoes and shit out there, having farms. And here's his son getting leveled. Drops I wouldn't say a dime, but drops a decent pass to Brandon Ayuk. My God. Look at him. He's like, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Got that little swagger. Can we get a quarterback with some swagger? All we got is a quarterback with an Adam's apple and a giant fucking nose.
21-0 at one point.
Oh my God. Guys, I got a high five. Salute to everybody else.
I want Jalen Hurts, man. Give me Jalen Hurts. I'll trade you. Hey, Eagle fans, are you still don't like him? Because I gladly will take him off your hands.
I think that's off the table now, Adam.
Oh, come on, man.
We're not going to be able to get that one, man.
Whoa, really?
I'm pretty sure a guy that might literally hoist up the MVP trophy at the end of this year. I think he might be off the trade block, bro.
Oh, well, I thought they hated him. So come on. If you hate him so much, we'll take him off your hands. We'll have an open competition. The MVP versus the MVP of, nothing. Daniel versus Jalen. Okay, you got the thing is you have to really measure him to be all fairness. You have to measure him with the other 32 quarterbacks in the league right now, backups included, because while we laugh at him and things like that, I believe, I do believe in skill position players. But look at this guy coming in right here, Brock Purdy, right? The guy has he scored 4 touchdowns in this game. No one's ever heard of this guy. No one's ever heard of this guy. He comes in and is playing like this team looks like they're still a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Look at this guy. He's a dork. Look at Brock Purdy. Oh, my God. He's like a guy that probably would be selling you insurance.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Joe Smith.
Maybe
thanks for that nickname. The Massacre at the Meadowlands. There's another one.
Massacre at the Meadowlands.
Y'all was basically a clown show today. The Eagles y'all was basically a clown show. Even on
thanks, Dante. Thanks.
No, we got our butts clapped.
That's exactly what happened today. That's
clapping on cheeks. We were just farting in the wind, man. Just walking around.
But we're gonna go out there next week and beat the Washington Commanders.
Right, Commanders up. We're farting in the wind. I'd rather watch the Three Stooges. I think I'm watching the Giants offense.
I mean, this offense has just really become extremely painful.
And the worst part about it is, this is what the worst part about it is, okay? We brought in this guy from Kansas City and the Bills. And yet somehow we are just as bad as we were last year with a completely different coaching staff. The only thing that hasn't changed from the coaching staff is somebody that's under center. Something is eerily ironic about all this, and it just comes to my attention. Like, 4 years we've had Pat Shurmur, right? That he had 2 years, and his offense was making compared to Brian Dable right now. Even though that team lost, they were scoring points. We were losing by 60-yard field goals in Carolina. We were just like, hey, let's get a better defense instead of having Antoine Bethea, who was on AARP at that time, basically 1 foot out the door to retirement. We had him playing in the backfield. Right? We come back the next year, the Giants panic because they hear possibly Denver and possibly Washington is going to take Daniel Jones. We had Josh Allen. We're like, nope, we're not going to take the pass rusher. No. We're going to take this guy from Duke, who nobody heard of, who we didn't even go and scout him. We didn't even go to a game. You know what Dave Gettleman did? He went to the Senior Bowl. And he was like, yep, that's my quarterback. That's him right there. That guy, never seen him play it down in football. That's the guy I want. Then we proceed to take DeAndre Baker, does nothing. Sexy Dexy, we know that he's good, right? The rest of that, I don't even know who the rest of that freaking team is. Then in 2020, we actually go after the offensive line. Andrew Thomas, people are telling me looks like Eric Flowers. I said, why don't you hold your horses and let the kid develop? Matt Pert is a nobody. Shane Lemieux, we're still waiting on him. I don't know where that guy's at. Probably in Saskatchewan somewhere. My God. This team has no talent. We just need to get rid of everything. And the thing is, like, I love Barkley and everything like that. Let him walk too. Why? Because if we keep having these guys, we're going to keep having the excuses. We're going to keep having the the offensive line. No, just go out there, let the guy, let the dust settle. And if these guys aren't your things, I don't want to sign him just because he's Barkley and he's been here. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to cost an arm. Oh, someone's like, franchise him. Yeah, because Barkley wants to play in the franchise tag after dealing with all this bullshit that he's dealt with the last year. No offensive line, getting beat up by this team because they ran him into the ground by the Texans game. I mean, he has a neck injury. Come on.
He's got the shoulder injury he's been battling for weeks too.
Well, the neck thing happened in practice, he said, this week. I don't know.
He got a stinger, I think. I think it's a stinger he got.
Those don't heal.
No.
You play with that all year.
And then Leonard Williams has got the neck injury too. Is he even a guarantee to play this next Sunday against the Commanders?
Right. Everyone's like, oh, they're holding him out. In what planet did the Giants have the authority to hold players out like you're playing like Appalachian State? Don't worry. We'll play Washington next week. You can sit out. Don't worry. You're on scholarship. It's cool. Like, every win is needed. That's why I'm so frustrated when people say to me, oh, well, it's okay that we lost. Why is it okay? Why is it okay now that we lose? But I told you that we lose against Tennessee, and you're like, fuck you, man. You're losing against Tennessee. You're not a fan. Now we're like, oh, it's okay. We're losing to the best team in football. No, the mindset can't change. If you believe that this team is going to the playoffs, they need to start acting like it. Right now, they're not acting like a team that deserves to be in the playoffs. They're acting like a team that deserves not to be there. Okay, because nothing that they did this week, I don't want to hear there should be no positives coming out of this game. I don't want to hear, oh, high five Azeez Ojulari. He did his job. All right? You know what? The worst part about this game is that the backup quarterback has more yardage rushing.
Real quick, because that when you say I don't want to hear about Azeez Ojulari, not necessarily it's a positive, but it's good to see and know that he is what we thought he was. It's not an illusion from last year of rookie season.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying.
Good to know. I'm just saying it's good to know that he is legitimately what we all thought he was, and it's not like just smoke and mirrors. When he came back, he is making an impact in that pass rush, and it's even helping out Kayvon Thibodeau a little bit more, who was starting to come into his own. And I think we do have two good young bookend edge rushers to build this defense around going forward into the future. That's if you want to look at a slight positive from that. Safety. Okay, smidge. I'll give that a smidge of a positive, which I actually did talk about in the very beginning when I went live in the beginning. But it's a sliver of positivity from the day. It's just knowing that Azeez Ojulari is that guy.
When you play well in a shitty game, that's great. But my point is that, yes, I like Azeez. I wasn't worried about him like everybody else was. I thought I looked at a player and I'm like, this guy's going to be legit. I even said he was going to be our defensive MVP if he's healthy. So I'm not surprised. In 3 games that he's played in, he has 3 sacks. Right now he's on pace to get 9 sacks or whatever it is in the games that he played. I like him. He's changed the whole dynamic of the defense more so than Kayvon Thibodeau. But the entire defense gave up, 200 yards passing and 250 yards rushing at the same time. So even though he did his job, it's like it was meaningless. I need meaningful plays. Like, for example, we liked what Daniel did, right, with that 100 yards. Those 100 yards he had in the Jaguar game, those were effective yards because they won the game. If you don't get effective plays, it's just a sack fumble on your record, right? It's like, oh, he got a sack. Great job. High five. We're still losing. And right now, this team is going in the wrong direction. I can't believe the Jaguars are in the playoff hunt. This team is going in the wrong direction. Like right now, we need Seattle to freaking choke on something, okay, and lose, because right now we're out of the play. This is why I keep telling you, we're out of the playoffs as of today. If the playoffs started today, that tie hurts us because it's not a win, and it makes
Yeah, today, I feel like today it does.
Right. But okay, but guess what? There's a team called the Lions, and I hate to use this, they're hunting right now. And if they beat the Jets, I think they'll run the table because they have the Bears, they have another team that's beatable, and I think they have the Packers as well. So there's a chance for them to be in the last game of the year playing for the playoffs and kicking us out. Right. So that's why every win from here on out, like I thought the tie was a loss. I thought in my eyes it was a loss because we should have won that game. And if we won that game, I wouldn't have cared about losing this game as much because guess what? We're still in the playoff. It doesn't matter what happens against Washington. Now we're sitting here saying, oh, we're going to beat Washington, and Washington the same thing. This is basically the game next week is basically possibly for the last playoff spot, barring a collapse by both teams, in which the Lions somehow get a better record than both teams, and both teams are out.
Don't y'all still got the Eagles one more time?
Yeah,
the last game of the season
in Philadelphia. Yeah.
And their backups are better than our starters. So,
and we have not beaten Philadelphia in like how many years in Lincoln Financial Field? It's been like 5-6 years we haven't beaten them there.
Well, that Detroit game, y'all lost hurt. That hurt it bad. That said it the most, pretty much. That kind of hurt it bad.
So the Seattle game, that one hurt us a lot too. Those two games have killed us so far this year.
The Detroit game to me was more egregious because that team was a 3-7 football team.
They were a 3-7 football team.
They had the worst ranked defense going into that game.
Dead and buried that team was. They're basically letting anybody score points on them, and we couldn't do a damn. We lost by double digits to that team. Okay, the only other team we lost to double digits to was the Eagles, and we lost to a team right now in the Lions who were at that time dead and right. They were thinking about getting rid of their quarterback. Now they're thinking about bringing that quarterback back after 330 yards and 3 touchdown performance. Okay, they were sitting in there. We're going to get Will Levis. We're going to do this. They have more wins than they've had in the last 2 years, right? They were 4 wins last year. They got 6 right now. Dan Campbell, you might as well put his bust in the Hall of Fame for what he's done with Detroit. And if they happen to get to 500 next week and beat the Jets, who are now reeling themselves, it's gonna be dicey down the stretch. I unfortunately think the Giants are in for trouble the next 2.5-3 weeks. The only game I see that's kind of easy is Indianapolis, and I don't even expect a win there because of how good that Indianapolis or underrated that Indianapolis defense is. So,
yeah, I mean, none of these games are gonna be easy. We can't be easy. We're the Giants. We don't make anything easy. We're just not good enough offensively to go out there and blow any of these teams away. They're going to be close games no matter what because we just don't have the firepower on offense and defense. And I'm curious to see the injury report. So people think McKinney's going to be back. Is that a guarantee?
No.
People think Adoree Jackson's going to be back. Is that a guarantee?
No.
One of those guarantees.
Yeah, but okay.
They haven't played in weeks.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So now you're supposed to be guys who aren't going to hit all week, are going to be coddled with kid gloves. They're going to come back in here and now say, all right, let's put this lawnmower in gear, right, and just pull the cord, and they're going 100 miles an hour. That's not how this works. Look at everybody that's come back. They've struggled coming out the gate. I mean, Evan Neal struggled in his first game back. This game was a better game, but even him would get beat.
Yeah, he was not good.
And let's be honest, it doesn't get better next week when they have Chase Young back. Okay?
And the whole line, their whole defensive line is really good, especially the interior defensive line.
Not going to say nothing, but they arrested. They're getting it looked like the game against us. The Commanders were tired, running ragged, playing that hair on fire type of football where you've got guys who are, playing hard for 5 quarters, and that exhausts you. And then you play the Giants where you have to play close to the vest. Again, those type of things get you fluttered, get you flustered, and it really work you. Now you're going to their house in their building. They're eating their home cooked food. They're with their wives. They're with their girlfriends. They don't have to travel anywhere. They've been sitting on their ass for 2 weeks, and you coming into their building after an absolute embarrassment, and you want me to be like, yeah, don't worry, it's going to be good. I have no confidence in this team at all. I think they have no confidence in themselves. The coach is reflecting that on how he's calling plays.
You can't have the, when you said that comment that you made before, Adam, about the fact that the coach says that they just wanted to hope to not, be competitive going to the half. That one pissed me off. I have to admit that frustrates me because you don't ever want to hear that from your head coach.
I heard that on the broadcast. The broadcast, I forget who the guy was. I think Moose Johnson was, and Moose Johnson was really killing us today. He was like, oh, Brian Dable wanted to keep it competitive at halftime. That's what he wanted to do. I'm like, if that's the message you told your team, you already lost the game. And that means you're probably going to lose next week too, because you're going to be like, well, this is our season, and put too much pressure on this team to win. Right? A banged up offensive line that you think all of a sudden Bredeson's going to come back, who, by the way, is Bredeson is the best of shit, right? When you have the best of shit, like the shittiest thing looks the best because, you know what? It's better than what we got, right? But he's going to come back and now play Deron Payne, who's rested up, Jonathan Allen, who's rested up, Chase Young, who's going to come back, and a Montez Sweat. And all of a sudden, by the way, those guys all have 6 sacks.
Bredeson's going to be rested up too.
Brederson hasn't played in weeks. Are you kidding me? These guys played. This guy hasn't played in weeks. You really have confidence in Brederson? Well, then if you do, good
I have
luck.
I have more confidence in Brederson than the guys that are playing on the interior line right now because Brederson, when he was out there, was playing better than what these guys are playing right now. The guys we're playing with right now.
Shane Lemieux even play this year?
Are playing.
Yeah, you can couple snaps.
I'm not acting like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Brederson is like the savior of saviors for this O-line or this offense by no means.
This is how desperate Giant fans are, folks, that we're sitting here happy that Bredeson's going to be coming back.
But I'm saying he performed. He was on the field playing before he got injured. He was playing at a higher level than Galinsky and Feliciano and me and Nick Gates coming back in off of this broken Zudo. He's playing at a higher level than these guys right now. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, oh yeah, Brederson's back. Everything's going to be all better now. No, that's ridiculous. I'm just saying he was playing better football than these guys were playing.
If we don't get a Dory Jackson back or McKinney back, I think we have no chance. Even if we get Leonard Williams back, I think we have a harder chance than people think. I think they're going to be fired up and ready to go. And they're probably going to wear all black because Ron Rivera's probably going to say, we're trying to go to a funeral tonight. Wear your all black. You know what I mean? Because somebody's dying tonight. Somebody's season is going down on Sunday next week.
Well, I feel like if we can get out Taylor Heineke, man. I think that with the Padres, I think that gives us a good chance.
If some Buster Candies enough to everybody be Christmas, they got after us. They got after us last week too.
They did, but they only could manage the tie. We just got to figure out a way to win. That's what we got to do.
Right, but we don't. But everyone acts like there's some cloak and dagger that they're hiding. Oh my God, they're gonna bring out this new offense that they're gonna parade around there with the Washington Commanders. I mean, my God.
Giants fan that says that they're lost, and they've been lost for.
What they're saying, but that's what I'm saying. Like people were like, oh, they're holding back the offense. What offense are they holding back? They have 3 plays. They bootleg left. They bootleg right. Like, what are we hiding? What are we hiding that they haven't seen? Give me a break.
I mean, the immortal Richie James actually had a decent game today.
Oh yeah. So again, what's sad is that the backup quarterback who hasn't played a damn down of football outside of maybe half a game has more yardage rushing than all the backs combined and quarterback. That's terrible.
That's right there. That's just. Yeah, it's really like one of those things that you just got to look back and be like, that's how sad our performance was today. That the backup quarterback who just came in the middle of the fourth quarter had the most rushing yards in the game for us on offense. That's when you know, like, it was a shit day.
Anyways, guys, thanks for having me.
I got a good dinner. Yeah, go ahead, Adam. So you finish.
I was just saying,
on, bro.
Thanks for having me. I didn't mean to go off, but
you were perfect. You were great.
You know, some people need a little energy after a loss. You can't just get your ass kicked and your teeth kicked down your throat and just be all happy about it. So, anyways, Mac, always a good show. I'll talk to you during the week, and we know where I'll be at 5:30 on Wednesday.
Kill it like always, you guys on the show. I'm gonna hop off too.
I just wanted to say because I got a good dinner waiting for me up on the stove, man. Somebody go definitely eat that, man. This was another tough one. Obviously, it's just the way it went down. It just wasn't a good look for the New York Giants today. But I appreciate everybody that came on, everybody that was in the chat, man. I had one of my chefs in the chat today, man. Really appreciate. One of my favorite chefs I ever worked with, Sean Howe. Appreciate you coming through and supporting the channel, man. Really do. And had some other good guys in the chat. Authentic was in the chat dropping some gems, man. Everybody else that was in the chat, man. I really appreciate you. Everybody that came on the panel. Halftime, Philly Halftime, Mitch, Koski, his squad, Adam, Costas, NYG, Jeffy T. Appreciate all you guys, man. Appreciate the love. And this has been the Week 14 edition of the True Blue Aftermath, man. And it was a rough one today. The New York Giants went out there and absolutely laid an egg, man. But it's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, man. Saying, get ready for Washington, baby. Get ready for the Washington Commanders next week. And make sure you tune in on Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup with my boy, the super dope co-host Adam Costas. And it's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.